lot of concern is still going around with Rhea Ripley, so we'll see what's the latest there. We'll also check out what's up with Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and more. Starting things off with Rhea Ripley and that entire situation right there. Rhea Ripley's last televised match was back on May 31st at Clash in Italy, when she successfully defended her title against Jade Cargill. Then, just a handful of days later, Rhea was hurt during a live event match and suffered a knee injury. She made one SmackDown appearance after that in a knee brace and has been fully off television for several weeks after that final appearance. So what exactly is going on here? Well, it seems like Rhea's knee injury is something that's a bit more serious than everyone initially thought. She's still not medically cleared, yet she still holds on to the WWE Women's title. It's been over 1 month since her last match, a full month of inactivity and being on the shelf, but the title is not being vacated. It seems like they're just ignoring the existence of the WWE Women's title right now on SmackDown and just buying time until Rhea Ripley is cleared. But everyone is a bit concerned of how much time Rhea is missing and if there'll ever be a point where she would need to vacate the title. Because now we're officially beginning the second month of her time on the injury shelf. And it's rare to see WWE allow someone who's injured to hold onto a title for 2 months following their injury. That used to be unheard of. If you were dealing with an injury, you relinquished the title right away. Sort of like back in 2017, where Naomi was unable to defend the title within a 30-day time period, so she relinquished the title and then returned a few weeks later to win it back. Well, now it's kind of strange because injured superstars are taking the title home for multiple months and their existence is just being ignored on television as if they don't have a world title in their possession. And that's what's happening right now with Rhea Ripley. She's still the women's champion, but her last match was in late May, and she herself hasn't been seen on SmackDown in weeks. So everyone is curious to know what's the plan here. Is Rhea Ripley going to miss several more weeks of action and just not be seen or heard from while she retains possession of the women's title? Or will they continue to ignore her existence and what's really in play here? Well, according to reports, the original SummerSlam plans for Rhea Ripley prior to the knee injury was for her to face either Alexa Bliss or Jacy Jayne and defend her title against either of those women. But now, following the injury to Rhea Ripley, those plans now appear to be up in limbo. There's no real updates on Rhea's status, so no one even knows at the moment if she'll be competing at SummerSlam anymore or not. Everything is just up in the air there with Rhea Ripley's status. But the fact that they haven't made her relinquish the title has indicated that maybe she'll be back sometime in the near future. There just can't be any way they allow the women's champion to be inactive for 2 months while still holding the title. So we either have to see a return from Rhea Ripley in the coming weeks, or it's time to relinquish the title so that the title can still be featured at SummerSlam. If Rhea does make a return in time for SummerSlam, the match versus Jacy Jayne does seem to be more likely right now than the other rumored matchup against Alexa Bliss. Alexa hasn't held a world title since 2018. So although it would be nice to see her back in the world title picture for the first time in a long time, it just doesn't feel like Alexa has the story and momentum going right now for a main event program. However, Jacy Jayne seems to have the right momentum going for that matchup to make sense. Jacy and Fatal Influence made their SmackDown debut by confronting Rhea Ripley back during the spring, and they've been building a name for themselves ever since. It's also been revealed that Fatal Influence is going after the women's tag team titles. So if the group is able to get a hold of those tag team titles, it does make sense for Jacy to get after the women's title to tease the idea and concept of all 3 faction members having championship gold. So that's why it makes a bit more sense for Jacy to be the SummerSlam challenger for Rhea Ripley over Alexa Bliss. But again, the audience is being left in the dark regarding Rhea's injury status. So no one knows if Rhea is going to be healthy in time for SummerSlam, but we'll have to closely monitor that situation there. It seems like a new story direction is once again being teased for Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte and Alexa have been tag team partners with each other for well over a year now. And at the start of their run together, they were extremely entertaining. The whole dynamic of Charlotte's character being her normal, stuck-up self, and Alexa's character trying to show Charlotte how partnership works was very entertaining to watch unfold. The act of them together was very fun to watch, and they instantly became a fan favorite. And that story was great. But once that character arc for Charlotte was complete and she fully transitioned into a babyface, Alexa and Charlotte didn't really have a hot story going on anymore. Things definitely slowed down a bit for them. Things picked up a little bit in early 2026 when they started to tease some tension between Alexa and Charlotte. They were on a losing streak, lots of little disagreements between the both of them, and then other big moments like the blunder of Charlotte accidentally eliminating Alexa Bliss during the Royal Rumble. But all those early 2026 moments ultimately led towards nothing at all. Alexa and Charlotte quietly patched those issues, and nothing worth talking about took place after that. On top of the lasting feuds and programs, something else this regime loves to do is the stop-and-go type of method of storytelling. They'll introduce a storyline, it seems like it's getting hot and they have an idea of where they want to go with it, but then it mysteriously stops and disappears. And maybe they pick it up again several months later. A perfect example of that was the whole crash-out heel turn for Jay. That started in late 2025, mysteriously stopped, and now they're starting to pick it up again in current day. Similar idea here for Alexa and Charlotte. They teased tension back in early 2026 and started the story, stopped it for a while, but it looks like they're picking things back up again for that narrative in current day. The July 3rd edition of SmackDown featured a moment of Alexa Bliss confronting Charlotte Flair for her actions at Night of Champions. According to Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair did not inform her at all about her plans of showing up at Night of Champions to interfere with the Jade and Tiffany US title match. Alexa seemed very hurt and upset that Charlotte left her in the dark about something that major. And Charlotte Flair fired back by bringing up how Alexa was teaming up with Tiffany Stratton recently on SmackDown as well. And that's kind of where the conversation finished at before Tiffany joined in. But this is interesting, and this is what Charlotte and Alexa really needed, some type of drama, tension, and story direction. They've gone on for so long without anything interesting going on. So now that they've got this tension with each other again, it finally feels like they have some type of direction going on there. They're throwing little jabs at each other again, and that's great because that's what made the first few months together so interesting. It was the fact that they weren't perfect friends. They did jab each other from time to time. So to see that aspect return for them will really breathe some new life into their partnership. Only difference this time around is that they won't be growing together. They'll actually be growing apart, and the jabs are only going to get bigger. WWE loves to have major moments at Summerslam, so maybe Summerslam is the spot where we see Alexa and Charlotte officially break up at. And maybe it's Alexa Bliss who turns heel and ends things with Charlotte. Alexa was the one who brought the team together, so maybe she's also the one who officially ends it as well. So we'll have to see if this Alexa and Charlotte story will really get rolling now, or if they'll stop it again. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.